And we're off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Forts. This one's sponsored by Ridge Wallet. We'll get back to that in a moment, but first off, we have here on the left side, it is our first opponent of the day. It is Noah, as we'll be facing off against not me, but an AI created by me to slowly grind our opponents to the ground and defeat them with infinite APM and unlimited mortars. We'll see how our opponent figures it out this time. It looks like Noah here has gone for a pinch fist, which is not a big surprise considering. And the AI has opted to use Firebird. I am interested to see how that plays out. Lord knows those incendiary mortars boosted up with these extra powered fire is a little bit to deal with. Looks like Noah knows full well what he can and cannot get away with, because he is aware that this is an AI opponent. So he's just straight selling off everything in front of his court for the extra money so that he can get out his technology that much faster. If we recall from the stream where we were coding this AI, or at least its predecessor, Noah knows full well how to handle AI, and this AI in particular, though it has gone through some fairly notable changes since then. We'll see if anything catches him off guard. Last I checked, it was an extremely long and exciting match. Oh yeah, he knows exactly what he's going for here. These are going to be gunner positions for the inevitable mortars, and as the gunners are placed, sniper out here. And in a moment we will see mortars from our AI as it saves up money to plant down multiple mortars at a time. But wait! It's just more gunners out of Noah here. He's going to be getting even more gunners down here as well. I imagine... So, this is a good place for a howitzer. He's going to need another howitzer position. I think he's going to try to stabilize first with the mortars getting placed down, and then inevitably get down a howitzer. Or is he not going howitzer at all? He might just be going cannon. He hasn't gotten the extra storages required. Curious to see how it's going to pan out. This is someone who has been traumatized by the AI before and does not want to have to go through the nonsense that this AI can put out, because it is utterly endless, and it's actually extremely satisfying to watch, because there's really no real hard counter. That's not true. There's several very hard counters, but they're also super risky, and most players don't try to go with the hard counters. Instead, they try to fight it on relatively even terms, and that does not work out because it turns into an infinite APM fest. As is, we already have one mortar sneaking through all the anti-air and hitting the cannon. Noah's going to see what he could do about that, but it's gonna be a little bit rough. Mortar is being paused for a moment as the AI saves up to expand further. We'll see what comes of it next. It looks like Noah is hard defending his cannon now. He kind of needs to. Yes, there we go. AI is expanding and has gotten its next layer of tech. Still not even 4 minutes on the clock. So it is not cannon o'clock, and not quite time for anyone to really be fielding a ridiculous amount of firepower. But yeah, it's about to change as the AI is going to ramp up to 6 mortars. We have the 4th being placed, and very quickly the 5th, and soon the 6th. Looks like Noah, with all those predestined gunners fulfilling their fate of simply clearing the skies. We'll see how that changes once the extra mortars come to play. Curious to see that the sniper here is not really shooting at things. Instead, shooting at a wall. Hey, there it goes. He places a gunner, and it's immediately sniped out. You must hard wall off every gunner, or the AI will remove it instantaneously. Looks like all 6 mortars are cleared and ready to fire. We see them starting to go through the sky here. Noah's ready to fire his cannon. Doesn't quite have the energy for it, but that'll be fixed up in a moment here. And cannon shell. And a miss. No damage dealt. But don't miss your shot to pick up a Ridge wallet today. With the holiday season coming up, the Ridge wallet is the perfect gift. Available in over 30 colors and styles, there's an option for everyone. Personally, I went with the simple, the sleek, the carbon fiber. Its minimalist design and small profile just makes it far more efficient than my old fat wallet. Whether you're looking to upgrade for yourself or gift a loved one, don't miss out on the discount with code Incursus. Referral link is in the description below. Specifically from that angle, these cannons can hit from below and take out, just touch the hitbox here on this guy, which can slow the AI down immensely. Curious to see if Noah tries for that. I'm actually fairly certain that's exactly why Noah has placed those cannons down there, because he wants to snipe out the AI's weapons from below, which is, to be fair, quite a good place to put a cannon against this AI in particular. Not every variant of the AI has the vulnerability to the lower cannons. The AI has now upgraded to additional mortars, upgraded to heavy mortars. Ooh, a swing and a miss. No damage. Remember, if those heavy mortars start landing, Noah becomes seriously tripled. Things can get very dangerous very quickly for him. Solid hit straight to the core. Only splash damage. AI has sufficiently defended itself. Looks like the gunners from Noah are overheating, but they are still managing to clear the sky. It's very close, very dangerous. Oh, one hit, and immediately the sniper follows up to clear out one machine gunner. That means there's one fewer gunner available to clear the skies. The swarm missiles are officially launching. It's a little bit of splash damage, but nothing significant. Again, another sniper round. But with the Firebird active, everything is going to be on fire. That's the whole point of the Firebird. It turns every projectile into an incendiary projectile, including sniper rounds, which are kind of everywhere now. Some more splash damage onto the core. But again, no serious damage has been dealt to either player. Noah floating some metal. He's actually floating every resource as he struggles to keep up with the APM requirement to deal with, well, everything. Because there's fire coming from every field at every angle, and Noah has quite the extensive base. Here comes a swarm missile round. Swarm missile launch straight toward that cannon. If it all lands perfectly. Oh! From below, with the sniper follow-up, that is one cannon eliminated. And with it, it's gunners for protections. The mortars are going to have a better opportunity to land now. Curious to see what the AI prioritizes next. Looks like it's a second swarm missile launcher. And it's immediately defending it this time. And the cannon, it goes away! Whoa. Mortar lands, sniper follow-up, and suddenly no more cannon for Noah. Even some of the best Forts players able to fall. Even when they're expecting it, and they know exactly what they're in for with this AI, and oh boy, is it a lot to deal with. Look, even here, the fire. It still ravages the base. Uncontested, unexhausted, and some more fire to the flame. I love it. Let us see what comes next. And the gunners overheated, unable to defend against that mortar in particular. One gunner falls, and now Noah's on the he's on the back foot now, just barely trying to hang in there. Has added in the armory tech that will enable flak as well as rockets, EMPs, and the like. Curious to see what he does with that. Our AI champion continues to grow, adding in the second swarm missile launcher, officially firing it. So now there are 2 launches to come to deal with. It's going to make his life very difficult. Remember, those gunners, with them being hard walled off, they can aim up, but they can't aim down. And the swarm missiles, they come from below. Looks like the AI defending itself a little bit before anything gets too crazy. Ooh, that's going to be damaging. These swarm missiles coming from below, the gunners don't really have the ability to stop that. Fortunately, Noah is able to add some extra wood spam there. Looks like the gunner is able to clear up the rest of them as the swarm missiles decide to fly above this time. Oh, so many volleys fired off of those machine gunners. That's going to send them into overheat very quickly. AI is expanding with additional wind turbines to get some extra energy production. Looks like Noah will be continuing with the cannon usage. This time he's keeping the cannons close to home, where they aren't vulnerable and exposed to swarm missiles. Any kind of rounds that try to get to those cannons are going to have to go through, well, a massive firing line of machine gunners. From that angle, he's only really going to be able to go straight to the core, maybe a little bit above the core of the AI, so we're going to see some direct fire shots here this time. As the swarm missiles carry on firing. Indeed, there he goes, clearing out the center. That will actually enable the lower sniper of the two from the AI to go to the core, as it would seem. To the core and, well, anywhere else that isn't explicitly down below. We'll see how that pans out. Immediately sniped. Noah trying to add a flak in there. Doesn't quite make it as more swarm missiles are launched. Oof. Nice hits from below into his vulnerable places, but nothing terribly damaging. In comes the commander ability active. Everything is incendiary. Everything will soon be on fire for Noah. Looks like he's missing out on some of the wood spam in front of his base due strictly to the, well, just the raw and continuous firepower. Oh, so many swarms! Oh, I love to see it. This makes me, I enjoy this. I enjoy this very much. Another cannon rounds. No damage dealt to the AI. As our champion carries on. Oh, what's this? Is it more mortars? There is another mortar platform being placed, as well as the mortars upon it. Right as the swarm missiles launch one more time. No significant damage this time. Noah clearing out a little bit more of the center so that he can get some better angles on the AI's base. Looks like the AI has responded by activating their commander ability and turning everything incendiary. Oh, all those machine gunners are all overheated as the swarm missiles penetrate through, taking out the flak and the machine gunner behind it. Noah's base has got so many fires to put out. He does put them all out, but at what cost is the name of the game this time. Ooh, a beautiful shot from Noah, managing to send both cannon rounds into the same spot, tickling the AI's core a bit, but doesn't actually penetrate the defenses as Noah's core starts to burn even further. Look at that. His entire base is just on fire. Uh-oh. Noah loses a sandbag, which is always a bad sign. Sandbags free to repair, easy, and between them being free to repair and quick to repair, if you're taking enough damage that you're losing sandbags to something that isn't a heavy weapon, oof, you're in a rough spot. Looks like Noah did actually get a pretty decent shot to the AI's foundation. Fortunately for the AI, it did 0 damage because it has been designed to take hits to that spot repeatedly and doesn't really care that much about taking hits to the foundation. Noah's managed to get a good few shots off, but is it going to be enough as the AI just ramps up its damage? It's up to 9 mortars, 6 of which are heavy mortars, and there's not quite enough going on there. 2 more shots to the foundation of the AI, and nothing to show for it. Taking out a couple pieces of metal, which is It's okay. That is technically damage. AI adding in a third sniper from an even lower angle because having to deal with AI snipers is already hard enough, let alone dealing with 3 of them. We have machine gunners exploding on all sides. Uh-oh. The machine gunners are getting overwhelmed. Oh, but a beautiful shot out of Noah manages to take out all 3 of the upper mortars. Joke's on you, that's what he was aiming for the whole time. That's actually kind of one of the reasons why the AI is designed to have such strong and sturdy defenses up in the foundation, because that's where the mortars are, and everyone aims for the mortars for obvious reasons. Oh ho ho! 2 heavy mortars snaking through the point defense, taking out and massively deforming the MG nest from Noah's lower side. That's going to leave him in a rough position with not enough gunners to defend the mortars. Sure, Noah managed to take out 3 of the mortars, but those are going to be replaced and in fact are about to come right back online. And he does not quite have the machine gunners to stop it from ending him. The swarm missiles make it through, just overwhelming the point defense. Everything on fire once again. Oh jeez. All those machine gunners on fire, burning to the ground. Noah is struggling. He's managing to spend his money this time, but is it because he doesn't have enough money to rebuild things? Or is his APM simply expended that hard? The gunners, where once they were hard-walled, are not safe anymore, as another cannon round straight to the AI's core. He's actually doing significant chip damage at this point, bringing the AI core down to 42% up against Noah's 68. This is where things start to get a little bit more dicey for Noah, however, as the AI is quite finished with most of its build. It's going to be focusing in part on defense and in part in increasing its firepower since its base has been fully developed. Looks like the AI for the moment is going to be focusing on making sure its core is protected from those inevitable cannon rounds. And almost a perfect shot from from Noah. Managing to do some more damage to the AI's front, but not enough to actually touch the core. As more rounds come in and land, fire goes in every field. Noah struggles. Noah burns. And I'm thoroughly enjoying watching Noah struggle to handle this AI. Another slightly scattered shot. Those cannon rounds to the metal struts are able to slow the AI down enough that it doesn't just overwhelm him by upgrading all of the mortars and the nukes and bringing the complete unstoppable firepower down upon him, but it's only a matter of time. The AI is slowly managing to progress, despite eating cannon round after cannon round. Especially since Noah just sent a cannon round into the center position. That's gonna leave the AI with some extra money to spend on things. I'm curious to see what the AI is gonna do with it. I suspect it's going to upgrade itself so that it has a nuke instead of just swarm missiles. Swarm missiles thus far have been extremely effective. Case and point, removing yet another gunner. But haven't done enough damage to end the game. Looks like AI is going to be expanding its economy a little bit before doing anything else. That's probably wise. We don't want to see the AI get soft locked. Some more splash damage onto the core, bringing it down to 33% as Noah slowly whittles away the core as Noah's base is burned to the ground around him. Gosh, the fire is everywhere. Oh, Noah loses all of his top gunners. Oh, that's gonna leave him in a rough spot as suddenly the mortars lands. Imagine that. A couple gunners go away and the mortars start landing. It's brutal. I love it. Alright, with the AI having expanded its turbines. Let's see this second shot. No damage to the AI's core. And the Firebird has been activated once more. We see fire everywhere. Swarm missiles splashing that fire even more places, taking out a few more gunners along with it. Looks like Noah actually doesn't even have the metal right now to rebuild his gunners, as he's down to very few once again. The Firebird selection for the AI has been way more effective than I anticipated. Almost a beautiful shot out of Noah. A second shot, follow-up, doesn't quite land the hits that he wanted it to, missing out on all of those sweet, juicy, exposed mortars. Doing a little bit of damage to metal, which is not the cheapest repair bill, but also nothing that's going to stop the incoming damage output. Oh, just zooming out and seeing that mortar volley is just extremely satisfying. Oh, more core damage. That one's actually cut very deep, leaving the AI's core down at 16%. Oh, jeez. Noah may actually be able to pull this off with just a couple of cannons. Safely protected behind some extremely expendable machine guns. As more swarm missiles fly across, take out yet another gunner. And mortars don't quite make it this time. Oh, does he get it? One more shot. One more shot could do it, just like that. And he doesn't quite have the ability to fire this time. %. Does he have the follow-up? Oh, it's still on reload. Ooh, those swarm missiles didn't penetrate the metal doors this time. It was close. But one more hit, and Noah has this. Does he get it? Oh, his door's ready. Does he know all he has to do is fire one more time as he just tries to survive the perpetual onslaught? The AI has upgraded to a nuke that could potentially end the game, but with his cannon shot, doesn't do it. Does he have the follow-up? With 1% remaining, the AI lives. That nuke may just finish here, and that may cause some serious troubles for Noah. Noah is able to see the smoke coming out of the AI's reactor. He knows that it's extremely damaged. He knows that it's very close to death. Noah's cannons will come off cooldown. He will have an opportunity to fire before the AI's nukes, but he's having a rough time. His machine gunners let a few mortars through, and his entire base is falling apart. He's focusing on rebuilding. He's not finishing off the AI just yet with one more cannon shell. 0%. And that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, Noah is victorious.